One of the spiritual gifts that God blesses the church with is discernment. And last video, the video was about understanding and wisdom. So discernment is a step further than wisdom. Like after you get wisdom, the discernment that you have is more potent because you understand the things that you can now see. And when you have discernment, it's basically when you have good judgment and you can be able to see in a way that mostly others cannot see, and God blesses you in a way in your spiritual eyes to see in a certain way. So for example, you could be at work and you know how like when we say somebody is so-called being funny or they're acting funny or like they're saying some very harmful words that we would not respect, but we have to read in between the lines or have a good discernment to understand that they're trying to play us inside of our face. So with people that can be able to see that, we would respond in a more manner to demand our respect because we have wisdom in order to convey that message to somebody. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, like God just blessed people with discernment because if the enemy is trying to come attack you, and if the devil is trying to come attack you, how are you going to be equipped for the enemy's tactics if you can't even see him coming? So when you following God, God just give you these spiritual eyes and you could be able to see when the enemy is trying to attack you, and you can see when even sometimes like you can see like when blessings are about to happen into people's life. Like every follower of God has a certain level of discernment, and it goes from just prayer, like people who pray a lot, or people who even like prophets, their discernment is on a very high level, so they could see in the spiritual realm more fluently, and they have more intuition, and God communicates to them in a more visual way in order for them to convey their message, what God is trying to speak to them. So discernment is a very beautiful thing, and there's ways to strengthen your discernment. You know, like the last video, if you read inside of the Bible, you always gain knowledge, you always gain wisdom. And a great book to learn from knowledge and wisdom is the book of Proverbs. Proverbs is a good book about wisdom, and you'll gain a lot of insight on that. You'll gain a lot of insight into how to make sure that you're strong against when the enemy is coming. It's good to see when the enemy is coming. Now, since that you can be able to see that the enemy is trying to attack you with the discernment that God blessed you with because you follow him and believe and trust in him, now the wisdom that you practice and the wisdom that you have, it can now fight against the devil when he comes. And another scripture is when hold on, how did that it says, blessed is the man that endures every temptation. See, we're gonna be tempted and we're gonna be tested a lot of the time, but the point is, do you trust God? The point is, are you utilizing the tactics that he gave you? See, only thing that the enemy and the devil can do is copy what God has. So when sin comes into your life, the devil tries to disguise it as the most beautiful thing ever. God says the devil tried to disguise himself. Well, it says the devil disguises himself as an angel of light. And if he disguises himself as an angel of light, then so does his followers. So when they're presenting to you a gift, or they're presenting to you something and it looks so beautiful, sin will wrap itself up in the most beautiful thing, and it won't make you question if it's good for you or if it's not. And the thing about God is he's going to tell you the truth straight there and out. It may be something that you may not like about it, but God said the truth will set you free. And the devil, if he understands that certain people don't have a certain level of discernment, and wisdom and knowledge, then he can attack them easily because they're not even aware, because they're not even trying to get a relationship with God or have a certain amount of discernment or have a certain amount of wisdom. That's why God says, study to show thyself approval, so you can be strong. And God commands us to go into spiritual warfare so we can be strong as well. You know, there's so many deep levels about God that like we have to seek as individuals and as a community in order to understand his will for us even more. And every day, like, we're learning more and more and more what God needs us to do for him and what God wanted for us in general, you know. And the great thing about discernment is like when you've been through so many trials, you can see how, okay, it's like if you ever been inside of a fight or like how war go on and people retreat from the fight, they retreat because they're studying their enemies tactics, they're studying their enemy, like the way that they fight, so the next time they come to the fight, they gon' it's like the playoffs in basketball. You got to win up to like 4 games or so just to win the championship or something like that. And every time they play, every game, like they may go to game 5, game 6, game 7, they're learning how their enemies play. And once they go to practice in the playoffs, they know how to come to the next game in order to get back up. So when an enemy attacks you and you have a great level of discernment, those old attacks that he tried to do will not work because God already showed you how the enemy will try to come and try to take what's yours, try to steal what's yours or destroy what's yours. Because remember, the devil's the devil's will is to steal, kill, and destroy. So if you around people in your life and you thinking, God, like, are these people for me or are these people not? Listen, it does not matter who they are. Listen again, it does not matter who they are. It does not matter who they are. God says you cannot love man, mother, father, or anybody more than him. So you have to love God with all of your heart. And it does the point is if somebody around you is negative vibes, or if somebody around you and they just always bring in energy that's not good, and it just makes the atmosphere not feel so good, then they're of the devil. That's the part of the devil that's destroying. So you seeing, so not just that they're destroying, they're stealing your time, they're stealing your energy. You know what I'm saying? So devil comes simply to steal, kill, and destroy. The Bible makes itself clear. So if you have the level of discernment to understand that the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy, he disguises himself as an angel of light. His followers will disguise himself as an angel of light. Sin will wrap itself inside the most beautiful thing, and the devil's followers will do the same thing as him. So if you can see all of this, then you should understand that if a person is coming to you and they're stealing your attention, they're stealing your time, and they're just stealing like your focus, they're of the devil. I don't care if they say that they worship God. I don't care if they go to church. I don't care, none of that junk. It comes down to these 3 simple things, and you need to have the level of discernment in order to see this through people. People's words can say 1,000 things, but actions are truly what matters. You know what I'm saying? These people will sit in your face and just listen to you help them, but when it's time for you to have help, which is everybody need help at a certain point, there's nobody there. So that's them stealing, or that's them deceiving, and that's them being of the devil, because he only comes to steal, kill, and destroy. You see what I'm saying? So you just gotta have that discernment in order to see through those things and be prepared for when the devil tries to come to, try to come and steal, kill, and destroy. That's why in the first video, It was about understanding and wisdom. And now on the journey, with the more videos to come, I'm gonna connect every video so that we all can have some level of spiritual awareness in order to fight against the enemy and what God is trying to convey to us. And remember, beginning the video, I said we need to understand individually and as a community. So that's what we gonna get into, and God bless you.